I'm Pat Mayo with your DraftKings top price preview for the 2021 RBC Heritage. Building your lineups this week gets a lot tougher when you need to narrow down the very top end. So let's briefly talk about the course. It's Harbor Town. It's just over 7,100 yards to par 71. Very few eagles generated at this course, despite there being 3 par 3s, and the wind can play a significant factor. Webb Simpson broke the course record last season in his win coming out of the pandemic stoppage. Now, the historic annual traditional time slot for this event is the week after the Masters, which we're seeing right now. Last year, it was not. So maybe that the elements later on in the year led it to be a bit more generous. And there was also no wind that cropped up throughout the week, hence a lot of scoring. But when you think about this course, it's irons and it's putting. So let's go to the very top of the board. You'll see 6 guys above $10,000, and you can make a pretty compelling case for a lot of them. Dustin's the best player in the world, so pretty good case for him, although he's not playing well at the moment. Cantlay's never finished worse than 7th in 3 starts of this tournament. Webb won last year and plays short Bermuda courses really, really well. Morikawa is the best iron player in the world. Cam Smith coming off of 4 incredible performances in a row. And Daniel Berger, one of the top-ranked players in the field, who, once again, putts better on Bermuda, already has a win this year, 2 wins in the past calendar year, and this seems like a course where he's going to do really well. Very reminiscent to a coastal short course where he just won at Pebble Beach. So how do you parse between these guys? Do you have to pick ownership, or you just go with the guy that you like? I think you can actually jam 2 of these guys into your roster if you really want to, because the low 7s and the 6K range loaded with guys you can fill up your roster with and not hate yourself too much in the morning once you hit submit on those lineups on DraftKings. So the way to look at it for me is I think Morikawa is the best play by far, so I don't care how owned he's going to be. Just insert Colin Morikawa into my lineup. 3 of the past 5 times he has gained strokes putting in an event, he has won that event. The irons, immaculate. The driving, immaculate. Just make some putts, Colin. You don't need to make all the putts. Doesn't need to be that way. All you have to do is make, like, I don't know, gain a stroke on the field, a stroke and a half on the field, and you are cruising to a victory at Harbor Town this week. It's like a 40-60 proposition that's going to happen, but I'll go with the 40% here and go with Colin Morikawa and just how well that he has been playing. Already a win on Bermuda grass greens so far this season as well. And then I think you really have to play the ownership game with everyone else. Webb Simpson is going to be the overwhelming chalk at the very top. He and Morikawa are going to be very popular, but Webb, defending champion, coming off a good week at the Masters, and at a course where he typically plays really well. I think you can spend the money on Dustin Johnson here. Now, if Dustin Johnson was going to be the most owned player above $10,000, I'd probably end up fading him. That's just the way that I am. But it does appear like no one is using him, at least in the early going. Maybe this changes as the week goes along. But even when you look at what he did at the Masters, missing the cut a week ago, a lot of it was just putting related. The putting has been especially atrocious recently for Dustin Johnson, and that can come, that can go, and the ball striking hasn't been quite as crisp as it was when he won 4 times in 2020 and took home the Masters as well and set scoring records by shooting -30 in Boston. But this is a course where, he was the 3rd round. He was leading going into the final round 2 years ago when CT Pan won, had a disastrous Sunday. So he's been in contention a lot at this course, and he is the type of player that can go run away with a tournament. So for me, Colin Morikawa is number 1. Dustin Johnson is number 2 if you're stacking your lineups up top with 2 studs and playing a studs and duns lineup. If you want the full field breakdown, check out the Pat Mayo Experience on the Mayo Media Network YouTube channel, or all of my work up on DKPlaybook.com. I'm Pat Mayo.